am LaMarsha Lewis. Let's talk. Monday, March 7th, 2022. I hope everyone has had a great weekend. We're going to do some commentary in regards to Stephanie Grisham will be guest co-hosting on The View. She would do this on tomorrow, which would be Tuesday, March the 8th, and she will also be there Wednesday, March the 9th. So she has 2 days, Tuesday and Wednesday, March 8th and 9th, that I think no one saw this coming. This seemed to have caught. I saw it actually when I first got it came to I became knowledgeable of it was Friday. I had saw on Twitter where a lady had shared Stephanie Grisham guest co-host, and I'm like, why? And I'm still kind of like, why? But again, many people didn't take. I mean, I'm just trying to say this nicely, I guess. We know the ladies, the co-host, is not a fan or don't necessarily, I guess I should just say it like this, don't, from what we've seen in times when she was in the White House, because she served in the Trump administration, they didn't give her good reviews because as some has, I think it was Sunny, like she resigned supposedly January 6th after the insurrection took place, but it took her that long. She often covered for Trump, because I'm going to go over some information. And it's just kind of strange how someone like Stephanie Grisham has rose to the distinguish of having the career or having job position that she's had, and even now getting the opportunity to guest co-host, because anytime you can make an appearance on The View, that is major. That is phenomenal. We know she also wrote a book a little after she left the White House, and again after quitting from being a part of the Trump administration. She wrote a book in which she cashed in. Some have said she's trying to redeem herself, because I had saw where I believe it was on maybe Good Morning America. She was on various TV shows promoting her book. And of course, anytime anyone, especially if there's something known about that person, they may get the opportunity to promote their book, but they're still going to be asked important questions in regards to the situation. Same like with Alyssa Farah, when she came to guest co-host, she was asked by the lady, well, why did you work for the Trump administrations and things like that. Same with Michelle Tafoya, just like I thought about bringing some commentary to you about her, but I'm like, nah, I'm not going to do that, because she's not, I'm not going to continue to give her a platform or to entertain what she's chosen to show us, the racism about herself. So Michelle Tafoya did guest co-host twice last week on The View, and she had been at the CPAC, which is basically known for like white nationalists and things like that for the Republicans. And Sonny asked her why, and her thing was, well, if anybody, she'll go and speak, and just a bunch of crap. And she claimed not to. I think she said she's independent, a libertarian, but yet still you're out here every opportunity spreading racism, talking about the CRT, which is critical race theory, and has shown herself to be a racist person. That's all I'm gonna say on Michelle Tafoya, because I'm not gonna be one to give her a platform, because I don't agree with what she's shown herself to be. I take Maya Angelou's message: when someone show you who they are, you believe them, and you believe them the first time. But going back to whom we are speaking of, Stephanie Grisham will be on The View. I'm looking now on Twitter, on The View's page. It says, tomorrow, former Trump White House press secretary Stephanie Grisham at OM Grisham joins us at the Hot Topics table to guest co-host. I have heard what some other bloggers, YouTube bloggers, have said. So basically, I have heard, I don't know if this to be true. Perhaps it is, because I'm like, why? And again, I'm trying to like, why in the world the number one TV talk show is giving a platform to Stephanie Grisham? And many others have been saying why The View is giving a platform to so many Trump supporters, especially if they're looking, because as we know, they're looking for their fifth co-host called Megan McCain. Thank God for that. And she's also been trending. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to do some commentary about her, because she been trending for trying to say our vice president is not qualified to go and speak on our behalf if they decide to send her out in regards to what's going on with the Ukraine and Russia in that situation. Excuse me, that situation. But I didn't see this coming. I don't think many others, from, like I say, just when I first got a hold to this Friday about Stephanie Grisham, especially someone like Stephanie Grisham, because like I said, she supported Trump's lies. She was often very rude, in my opinion, in how she would respond to things. And like some had pointed out, she supported his lie that the election was stolen and all that. So it has been stated that they're not looking for anyone that believes the big lie. They're not looking for anyone that is against being vaccination and all of that. They looking for someone that will believe the report of science and CDC guidelines and things like that. So I'm not sure how or why, other than I guess maybe for ratings or something like that. I'm just trying to make it make sense, and right now I don't understand why, but I guess within these 2 days between tomorrow and Wednesday, maybe we can have a better understanding. And like I said, I'm on the Twitter page, and I see where somebody says why. More from a person who should have said something at that time, meaning she should have said something when she was actually serving. Most people are saying, "Oh no, thanks, hard pass." So I want to go to Wikipedia, because I looked up her, because I know it had been stated by how she had been arrested for being under the influence, or allegedly. I would use the term allegedly, but I'm going to read some information here. So again, I'm just trying to look, how could someone from the background she comes from, and supposedly she's plagiarism and all of this, how do you make it to the White House? You know, you get to be a chief of staff, a press secretary, White House communication director. How do you get to make it to the White House? And now you've written a book, and now you're making your way to sit at the views table for the next 2 days. Again, I'm trying to make this make sense, and I'm going to need your help. So again, this is from Wikipedia. It says Stephanie Ann Grisham, Somerville, Colorado, born July the 23rd, 1976. It says is an American former White House official who served as the 32nd White House press secretary and as White House communication director from July 2019 to April 2020. She served as chief of staff and press secretary for the First Lady of the United States, Melania Trump, from 2020 to 2021, and previously as her press secretary from 2017 to 2019. She was a press aide to Donald Trump 2016 presidential campaign, and then a member of the presidential transition team. As White House press secretary, she was the first in American history to hold no press conferences, instead opting for interviews on conservative news outlets. Grisham assumed the role of chief of staff on the first day of the First Lady on April the 7th, 2020. She resigned January the 6th, 2021, following 2021 storming of the United States Capitol in in September of 2021. She announced the publication of her book about her time working in the Trump administration. The book is titled, I'll Take Your Questions Now. So it's just like, again, I'm trying to make this make sense. Again, looking in from Wikipedia, chief of staff to the First Lady in office, April 7, 2020. January 6, 2021, President Donald Trump, First Lady Melania Trump. Press Secretary for the First Lady in office, April the 7th, 2020 through January the 6th, 2021. And when she became the White House press secretary, I myself really didn't realize it was almost a year. But she succeeded after Sarah Huckabee Sanders. She was Trump's press secretary, but then she left, and then this lady Stephanie took it, which again she did not give any press hearing, and she was succeeded by Kayleigh McEnany, who, as many people say, yes, she gave press briefings, but she often lied 99.9% of the time. It says White House Communications Director, July 1st of 2019 through April the 7th, 2020. Born Stephanie Ann Somerville, July the 23rd, 1976. She's 45 years old. So I guess she would kind of be in that little, the millennium age group somewhat. She's a member of the Republican Party. She's been married twice. She was married in 1997, divorced in 2004. Her second marriage was to a gentleman named Todd Grisham, so that's where the last name Grisham comes from. Married in 2004, only married 2 years to him, and divorced in 2006. Says she has 2 children. Education, Colorado Mesa University. So it says early life. So I guess Somerville was her last name, or her maiden name prior to any marriages before she married. And her parents divorced. Her mother remarried. So her mother moved to Nebraska, where she is known as Ann Schroeder. It says Grisham began voting in Arizona as a registered Democrat in 1997. Grisham attended Colorado Mesa University but did not earn a degree. So she didn't earn a degree, but again, you done made it all the way up the ladder to in the White House. Like you worked with at least 3 different titles in the White House. Everybody don't get that fortunate. It says career. Grisham was the spokesperson for AAA Arizona in 2007, but was fired within a year after being accused of falsifying expense reports. And again, I would say allegedly, but I am reading from Wikipedia. This is in Wikipedia in regards to Stephanie Grisham. But was fired within a year after being accused of falsifying expense reports. Grisham was fired from a subsequent job at an ad agency, MySpace, over plagiarism charges, copying AAA material verbatim into her client's web page, meaning basically she took every word from AAA and copied into this another employee that she was working for, verbatim, word for word. Again, the source is from Wikipedia. It says from 2008 to 2010, Grisham worked as a spokeswoman for the Arizona Charter School Association. There she met Tom Horn, Arizona Superintendent of Public School. From 2011 to 2014, Grisham served as a spokeswoman for Tom Horn after he was elected Arizona Attorney General. I guess this is how she got into maybe her political career. It says after Republican Mark Brinkley defeated Horn in a 2014 GOP preliminary, Grisham worked as a spokesperson for the Arizona House of Representatives Republican caucus. She revoked the Arizona Capital Times press credential hours after their reporting of the House Speaker had traveled to state at state taxpayers' expense during his campaign for Congress. It says in 2012, Grisham also worked for Mitt Romney's 2012 presidential campaign. In 2015, Grisham worked as press coordinator for Pope Francis' visit to Philadelphia. Wow. Again, how somebody like this woman get all these great opportunities as an independent contractor. Trump campaign and transition. August 2015, Grisham started working as a press aide to Donald Trump's 2016 presidential campaign. She helped arrange his campaign stops in Phoenix and around the state and region throughout the primary, a role that quickly expanded to include his rallies around the United States. Grisham was on a state payroll until May 2016, when she took an unpaid leave from the Arizona House of Representatives to work on Trump's campaign. After his victory, Grisham was named a special advisor for operations to serve on Trump's transition team. Arizona House Speaker David Gowin paid her $19,000 in state salary over an 8-week period when she was serving as a member of the Trump transition team. Trump administration. After Trump's January 2017 inauguration, Grisham was named Deputy Press Secretary for Sean Spencer in the West Wing of the White House. In 2017, First Lady Melania Trump moved her over to the East Wing. A former White House colleague said the president regretted losing Grisham to the First Lady's office because of Grisham's loyalty and skill at handling the press while acting as his traveling press secretary. During that time, she built relationships with many reporters at events. Despite losing Grisham as part of his own staff, Trump said he was satisfied that the First Lady would be in good hands. Grisham was described by several sources who worked with her previously as being highly competent and self-aware. Some suggested that she enjoyed trolling the press. It says in July 19, Grisham replaced Sarah Sanders as White House Press Secretary and White House Communication Director. Grisham appointment was announced by Melania Trump via Twitter on June the 25th of 2019. The June 28, 2019 annual report of Congress on White House personnel listed Grisham as Assistant to the President and Deputy Chief of Staff for Communication for the First Lady with an annual salary of $183,000. It says on September the 5th, 2019, the Washington Examiner published an opinion piece written by Grisham and her deputy, Hogan Gilly, entitled The Washington Post Lost Summer. I'm not going to read all of this. She's appeared on, as we know, on Fox News a lot, Fox and Friends. Like I said, after leaving the White House, she wrote a book. I'll take your question now. It says on April 7, 2020, it was announced that Grisham left her role as White House Press Secretary and returned to the East Wing to serve as Melania Trump's Chief of Staff, effective the same day. On the evening of January 6, 2021, Grisham resigned from the position as Melania Trump's Chief of Staff following the 2021 storming of the United States Capitol. Briefing controversy. Grisham extended to more than a year period during which there were no formal press briefings, such that there were none during her whole tenure as press secretary. However, she appeared on Fox News, Fox Business Network, One American News Network, and Sinclair Broadcast Group on many occasions during the same period, meaning during the same time she held the title or the position as press secretary. She never gave a press conference. Anderson Cooper 360 devoted to 2 prime segments in 1 week to the question whether taxpayers should pay her $183,000 salary and to accuse her of hypocrisy. Miss Grisham has gone from "we are human beings" to "they are human scum." It's actually really kind of sad. Her unintentionally honoring and deeply hypocritical social media statements and frequent televised interviews appear meant to defend the president, but actually point out the president's own failing. Okay, let's go to the personal life. Again, she was born Stephanie Ann Somerville. She was married twice, also divorced twice, and has 2 children. It also says Grisham had been romantically linked to former Trump White House aide Max Miller. Politico reported that the relationship ended in 2020 when Miller pushed Grisham up against a wall and slapped her in the face after an accusation of infidelity. Miller has denied the reports. So we use the term allegedly this happened, but this is, again, all under Stephanie Grisham personal life from Wikipedia. It says incident of driving while intoxicated. This is what I really wanted to get to. On January the 9th, 2013, Grisham was pulled over for speeding in Gilbert, Arizona. The officer observed Grisham's signs of intoxication and she failed a field sobriety test. Grisham denied consuming any alcohol, said she had taken Xanax 90 minutes earlier and Zoloft the prior night. A blood test revealed Grisham blood alcohol to be contained at 0.105, which is above the 0.08 legal limit in Arizona. She also was found to be driving on a suspended driver's license since August of 2012 for failure to answer a traffic citation. In August of 2014, Grisham accepted a plea bargain agreement that reduced the charge to a misdemeanor reckless driving plus 2 years probation. She returned to the court twice for failure to pay the $779 in fines and failure to complete Mothers Against Drunk Drivers program. Shortly after midnight on December the 5th, 2015, Grisham was arrested in Phoenix, Arizona for driving without her headlights and suspicion of driving under the influence, thus violating her probation. Grisham failed to appear at her court hearing on January the 9th, 2016, whereupon the judge issued a warrant for her arrest. Afterwards, Grisham pleaded guilty, and in July of 2016, she was ordered into a treatment program and to pay nearly $1,600 in court costs and fines. So someone that has had a record more than once for driving under the influence, driving with suspended driver's license, basically being impaired, risking her life and any other drivers that's on the highway, makes it all the way again to the White House. Make it make sense. That could not happen to me. That could not happen to the majority of us, especially when you would be considered average American. And let's not put a person of color into the factor. But this woman has, like I say, a driving record, suspended driver's license, has actually had warrants out for her arrest, has been said to have verbatim copied information from one job, falsifying travel expense reports. You get a job at the White House. And I don't know, may potentially get a job as a conservative at The View. Because I'm like, okay, is she really, are The View executive really considering her to be this person to take the place of Meghan McCain? Meghan McCain left at the end of season 24. And they have been doing a series since last year, when they came back for season 25. They have been doing various rotation. Most of the time, the person would get 2 days. Some have gotten 3 days. And as we did a conversation about Alyssa Farah. She came back recently, back in February, and she did, I believe it was 3 days. Alyssa did, but like I said, she was so confident. I've heard another blogger mention this as well. That hey, Alyssa gave, in my opinion, and like I said, and to others too, Alyssa gave the impression, imply, hey, I got this job. I'm gonna be the new person to sit at the seat, have the conservative voice at the table with Whoopi, the moderator, with Joy Behar, who's been on the show since the beginning, with Sonny Haynes, with Sarah Haynes and Sonny Haas, and also Anna Navarro, who sits who is the full-time fill-in, especially on Fridays and normally during the week as well. So this came out of nowhere, as one might would say, came out of left field. With we hearing that now Stephanie will be guest co-hosting, and again, I'm concerned how this is going to be, because as some has said, many are saying why, and many are saying they're not going to watch these next 2 days. But my thing is, I think it's how was she, because I mean, this woman lied from her tenure of working in the Trump administration. She defended Trump. She defended his lie. She defended him calling human beings scum. She has come out and said that, because many people had asked, well, what was going on January the 6th, when the insurrection was taking place. She didn't really say too much about Trump, but she did say Melania wasn't trying to do anything, something about, I think Melania had some rugs that she was looking at or something to that effect. But again, she has lied. She supposedly didn't leave until after, because she, January 6th, that was the last straw. But you had supported all of this. Like I said, even the big lie that was the reason for the insurrection, you were still there. And I really wonder, why did you resign on January the 6th when you have stood behind these people, the Trumps, throughout their tenure, throughout the Trump administration from 2017 to 2021. So it's probably going to be a little, I don't know, I guess awkward may be a word we could use, kind of probably perhaps some tension. They probably will do their best to treat her with courtesy, but definitely they don't respect her. Because how can you respect someone of that caliber that has done nothing but lie? And then I'm going back to looking to what's out there on Wikipedia. She's falsified expense report. She verbatim plagiarism and issued an arrest warrant, and twice under the influence of alcohol. That's not a person of good standing as a citizen. Excuse me, it's not. So I'm like, is the View really considering Stephanie Grisham being a full-time co-host on the View? I hope not. I'm like, but like I say, many are saying whenever they give the ladies 2 days, that means they're chemistry testing. They are actually interviewing in live time, because as we know, the View is live. So I don't know, y'all, but I am going to be in tune most definitely the next 2 days at the View, because I want to see the reaction, especially on tomorrow, because tomorrow will be the first day. Because like I say, I know Sonny Halston's going to bring it. Not sure if Anna will be there. But Joy also. Sarah, as we know, Sarah's that neutral one. Kind of stays in the middle. Whoopi, she probably will bring it too as well. So I'm interested, because again, this came out of left field. What's the real motive behind it? Could they really consider Stephanie Grisham and to replace Meghan McCain? Oh my gosh. A lot of people saying that the View executive having a hard time. I think, I don't know, maybe they are. The way I see it, my perspective, they're just trying to be sure. Because we all saw what we got the 4 years of 2017 through 2021 when John McCain's daughter sat at that table, and she only got that job because of her dad. And like I said, Whoopi even really made it even more plainer on her last day. Your dad wanted you to take this job. He basically wanted you to grow up and mature, in which she didn't. and she was very rude to everyone. Disrespect. She has no respect for anyone. Meghan McCain, John McCain's daughter. But again, I'm trying to really make sense why, of all people, someone like Stephanie Grisham is getting to come sit at the table at the bill. We shall see. I'm LaMarsha Lewis. Let's talk.